On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got it's so weird how California's heavily on fire and just getting worse. And then the rest of the nation, we got like a glacier moving down through it. It's insane what's going on right now weather-wise. Major year of change. It's unquestionable, and there's actually, from an astrological standpoint, there's a lot of really weird crap going on right now. There's like multiple planets that are retrograde. It's a very, very weird time. That doesn't normally happen, so I wouldn't say unprecedented. It's happened before, but this is very, very strange. So we've got a lot of things to be concerned about, but what is kind of the weird silver lining in this, if there is such a thing, as this is so horrible? There are expectations that this could cost, as of now, up to $52 to $58 billion. Probably going to be worse before it's all said and done. More homes are threatening. More neighborhoods with homes were being threatened, and these are just such expensive homes on top of everything else. But what it's happening is it's highlighting the failures of the mayor of LA, certainly, but also Gavin Newscum majorly. Majorly. There is a whole bunch of people pissed off at Gavin Newscum. We're talking movie stars. We're talking Democrats. We're talking a whole bunch of people are pissed. So again, the small silver lining, but we've got to fix this state. This state definitely it's the fifth largest economy in the world. This state is insane, and it needs to be kind of reined in a little bit. And so hopefully we can start making that process happen. Again, this is a tragedy, and I'm not trying to play down the tragedy in any way, shape, or form. Me and my girlfriend were talking about it this morning, and both of us are tearing up. Like, it's just, this is a really, really difficult time. And I'm grateful for my safety, but at the same time, it's so horrible for so many. And it's, I've got friends on my team, which, that are dealing with this, that are literally in the middle of it. And it's just, it's crazy times. Let's get into the stories here. I want to start off with some breaking news that happened in the Capitol. There was Capitol Police said the man was arrested. So two weird stories. A man was arrested. He was actually trying to go into the Capitol Visitor Center and brought in a bag with a bunch of machetes and 3 knives. Well, they screened him and found him, arrested him, and the dude's in trouble, and that they temporarily suspended any sort of entry from that particular area. That's, I think, been opened up since. Also had a situation where the Capitol Police were responding to a suspicious vehicle along First Street Northwest near Grant Memorial. Some suspicious vehicle. Ended up, they took that driver into custody. Bomb squad has cleared the suspicious vehicle. So 2 weird things going on at the Capitol. Fortunately, no one was harmed. That much is true. I wanted to get the ad out of the way before we go into a lot of the fire stuff, because there's a lot to cover on that. But I want to remind you guys, first off, they had a new landing page, which is super cool. But you want to go to drslikesgold.com. That's drslikesgold.com. You want to think about diversifying your 401k, your IRA. We got a lot of things that are tied up in dollars, which the inflation is just taking a bite out of your buying power every single day. In Biden's administration, the buying power has gone down about 25%. Typically, deflation doesn't usually happen or is usually frowned upon, but for some reason, in my mind, I feel like a little bit of deflation might be cool if we could bring prices down and stuff like that. But all said, the buying power of the dollar has been drastically reduced. The stability of the stock market is certainly questionable, and any number of events that are still sort of supposed to happen could cause major changes. You don't necessarily want to leave all of your eggs in any one basket. One thing you want to consider doing is getting some of those eggs. Sometimes people get close to 50%, but it's up to you. You got to think about it, what makes sense in your world. It's certainly why you want to get the wealth protection kit. So you want to go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get that wealth protection kit. Learn how precious metals can actually assist. And you can actually buy precious metals too through my good friends at Goldco. I've done that as well, and it's an awesome experience. And they've got a lot of really, really cool precious metals. They've got like palladium, they've got platinum, obviously gold and silver, a lot of really cool stuff. And you can even use some of those, I believe, in your precious metals IRA retirement kit. Doesn't just have to be gold and silver. You can actually get a little creative with it if you desire. But the prices have gone up, the highest they've ever been with gold right now. And so that scares some people sometimes too. You think about, oh my God, its prices are the highest they've ever been. This is not the time to buy. Here's the thing. gold's continued to go up. And if you go back to like 2021, price of gold was right around $17.50, somewhere around there. And it was the highest gold had ever been. Right now, gold's sitting at close to 25. It went way up from the highest it's ever been. And many experts are talking 4,000 or more for gold. There's still a lot of room built into it, and the same for silver. Silver's got a lot of room as well, especially when you look at statistically the peaks that silver have gone through during some of the crunches and tough times. It comes back down typically, but in those cases, we're still about halfway to that spike. So huge baked-in profits or money gains, if you will, or buying power gains, probably a better way to look at it. It holds the value of the dollar and of your wealth right now, right? Whatever the dollar's worth right now, whatever the stock is worth right now, it holds that buying power. It protects it. That's what precious metals do. Diversify is a really smart move right now. Getting out of your 401k, not completely, no, but some of it, and you can get into a precious metals IRA, and it's a very powerful way to protect your wealth. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. I'm a proud Goldco partner. Also going to be helping the channel, of course, too, but you're going to be helping yourself in major ways. And a lot of people have been helped by this and are actually looking at their value, and it's been going up and up and up, and they've been very happy. Go to drslikesgold.com. Be one of those happy people, too. Don't worry about all the crazy stuff that's happening. You know you'll be protected. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. All right, let's get into some of the crazy that's going on. Now, this is just a flashback to a Joe Rogan clip back 6 months ago or so, and is a good reminder and a great place to start.
So I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and the fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. So I was talking.
Yeah, so it's exactly what happened. And it's weird, as I kind of had envisioned some of the cities, and I've talked about it some, and LA was one of the ones I'd listed off that would likely burn. And I kind of always saw it being tied into, like, the Black Lives Matter or the Antifa or some just sort of crazy riot. Yeah, I didn't see this one coming, And again, sometimes we get fixated or focused on what's been happening and what's kind of common, and we forget these little weird outliers that can pop up. Kind of one of the reasons why I push drslikesgold.com, because the outliers are the things that catch us off guard, create the same outcome that we kind of thought would happen, but not the way we thought it would happen. So it's interesting that this is sort of a known problem, if you will. Apparently, Joe Biden showed up to this briefing. We'll play this here. I think it's probably lame, but we'll play it.
It's going to be a hell of a long way. It's going to take time. But we're in it. The federal government is here to stay as long as you need us and everything you need. Is there anything you've asked we haven't gotten yet?
Quite the contrary. Look, Mr. President, just first of all, that major disaster declaration being approved, next level appreciation on behalf of all the residents here in Southern California. As the chief said, we had pre-positioned assets this weekend in anticipation of these weather events. The complexity of multiple fires, the likelihood these weather events, this wind event will continue over the course of the next many days, the impacts of over 1,000 structures already that have been destroyed, 100,000+ people that have been evacuated, lives lost, traditions, lifestyles, places torn asunder. This means the world to us, and just publicly, because I think this is important, the president happened to be in the region, in town. It's impossible for me to express the level of appreciation and cooperation we received from the White House and this administration. So on behalf of all of us, Mr. President, thank you for being here, but not just being here today. Thank you for being here since the minute of this incident, when there was a 10-acre fire less than 24 or so hours ago. Deep gratitude.
It's astounding what's happening. There's only one piece of good news. My son lives out here and his wife. They got a notification yesterday their home was probably burned to the ground. Today, it appears that it may be still standing, we're not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great-grandfather as of today. Her granddaughter, 10-pound, 4-ounce baby girl, baby boy.
Dude, our state is burning down, you stupid potato head. We don't give a shit about you being a granddad or great-granddad or whatever the frick. Are you frickin' serious? Seriously. Come on, dude. You are retarded. Statement from Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre after returning this evening from Los Angeles, where earlier today he had met with police, fire, and emergency personnel fighting with the historic fires raging in the area, and approved a major disaster declaration for California. President Biden made the decision to cancel his upcoming trip to Italy to remain focused on directing the full federal response in the days ahead. Additional details to follow. I think literally Joe Biden was trying. He's like, I want to hit 42% of the entire time I've been in office on vacation. And, you know, I think we just might have ruined that for him with him not being able to go to Italy. What a dork. Interestingly, Tony Blinken is at some sort of UN thing, and he's sitting at the United States desk where it says president. Yet it's Blinken. It almost makes you wonder if that's actually more tongue-in-cheek or if that's closer to the truth than maybe we realize. Just to keep slamming on Biden just a hair further, we're going to get more into the fire stuff, but this just seemed the appropriate place to put this story. Jimmy Carter's funeral happened. We're going to be showing some clips from that. Interesting stuff. Trump talking to Obama. A lip reader gets involved. Professional one, too. By the way, and some of the funniest videos ever out there, do YouTube, look up lip reading, and you'll find some of the funniest videos in the world where people will talk words that aren't what they're saying probably, but the lip reading, it looks like it could be. It's hysterically funny. Needless to say, here's Joe Biden sleeping at the funeral. That sounds about right. He worked so hard having to fly out here to California. Here is the LA mayor giving an update on massive fires. She is so retarded. There's a URL, which is a web address. There's a URL that they need to give people that are suffering, struggling, need help. She doesn't even have that URL. She just calls it URL. Doesn't say anything, doesn't try to get anything changed, just stupid.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this. Through the heroism of our firefighters, the vigilance.
At URL. Are you serious? California struggling with massive wildfires sent surplus firefighting equipment to Ukraine. This was Gavin Newscum yet again. And the mayor. They sent extra equipment to Ukraine. So here we are, not able to deal with putting out our own fires, not able to deal with not having water. Whole slew of problems have happened. One other thing we've come to find out is, the fire hydrants went dry completely. Whole slew of fire hydrants went dry. Now, fortunately, we got Anderson Cooper was running around. I thought I had that one. Yeah, here's Anderson Cooper. We'll do this one right here. He's talking about the problem they're having with the fire hydrants is gravity. Gravity.
There's just the lack of water is a problem. In the Palisades, the water issue is according to authorities is a gravity issue. In order to get the water through the hydrants up in the hills and the mountains, they have these giant water tanks that use gravity, and those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses, trying to understandably hose down their lawns, hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this from burning down your house. You may keep your lawn, but it's not going to keep your house. But, there's this huge water usage all of a sudden, and those tanks on the top, there may be water in the system down below, but if the tanks on the top run dry, there's not enough pressure for gravity to bring the water up into the hydrants. That's in the Palisades. I don't know the water system here.
So it's what that basically means is, and this is how water works. You put water up, and when you run it out, it's kind of like a siphon concept. The actual gravity pulls it, and the higher it is, the potential energy, it's just a very cool thing the way it works, the more pressure you get. So what you do is you use pumps to pump it up into these tanks that are usually up higher. It's usually whenever you fly over any place, you'll typically see water tanks in the higher areas, and they do that as a means of creating water pressure. You've got to be careful not to create too much pressure, so they, I think, control that to some degrees because otherwise you'll burst pipes. But essentially, it's not the gravity that's the problem. It's that the tanks ran dry. They ran out of water. We didn't have water in our tanks. And that's where it needed to be, because that's what feeds the hydrants. They're like, well, we've got reservoirs with water. Yeah, but we weren't able to fly, and you certainly weren't bringing out the water trucks, which was the other problem. So, no water. This is a fail, again, with the mayor of LA. Don't even know what her name is. Don't even care. And it was also a failure from Gavin Newscum, and he's been dumping water into the ocean to save the stupid smelt fish. Yeah, that's got to stop immediately. Here's what we've had to resort to now that we're out of water. And this is not a joke. This is legitimately firefighters putting out a small fire they came across.
Hoses, so they're like literally using purses, women's handbags, filling up women's handbags to put out fires. Look at this. What in the world? LAFD fire department using women's handbags to put out fires. What is going on here? Have you guys ever seen this in your life? Look. Okay, there's a hose right there, but why are they using handbags?
My freaking grandpa is like rolling over in his grave. He was LA Fire. He retired. He's rolling over in his grave. There's literally no water, so they're just pouring a little bit of water in these bags rather than hooking up a hose or whatever, which I get would take time. LA Mayor Karen Bass on why there wasn't any water in the fire hydrants and why the National Guard wasn't called in. I think her answer sucked, but whatever.
I've been on the fire lines the last 2 days. I've never seen firefighters this desperate. At fire hydrants, water not coming out, the pressure so low, the number one tool that they use to fight these fires, not there. How frustrated are you about that? And also, I'm getting texts right now from the Palisades Highlands community. We're almost 48 hours after this fire started. There's not resources up there. The hydrants aren't working. Where's the National Guard? Where are miles and miles of water tenders? How are we addressing this? Your reaction?
First of all, you asked me, was I frustrated by this? Of course, because we all know that this has been an unprecedented event. We also know that fire hydrants are not constructed to deal with this type of massive devastation, and that the number one problem, especially on Wednesday, was the fact that we weren't able to do the air support because of the winds.
First off, fire hydrants are designed for this. That's exactly what they do. They're designed to push water out. They do it perfectly. It's the fact that there was no water there, whatever the hell your name is, Karen Ballz. Yeah, no, you're full of shit. Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt, but couldn't help it.
And so, of course, I am absolutely frustrated by that. I am not sure that is correct, that there are no resources up there, but rest assured, as soon as we are done here, I will follow up on that.
But those homes, the first day and a half, there were homes up there that had been protected by the fire. And then I went up there yesterday and there were
that had been protected?
That it basically had been saved. Obviously, the fire's moving different directions, but when I went up there yesterday, there were not a lot of resources. We drove around, and then I know that things got worse up there. I'm just wondering, now that we move 48 hours past, how are we addressing these water problems that are continuing, and is it acceptable that they continue?
Well, let me just say that the water problems are a little better now because the winds are such that we can go up and have the air support. And you know that that was the reason that the devastation was so bad, the unprecedented wind.
Yeah, the wind, but it didn't have to do with the water drops per se. That was, yes, we could have used some water drops, sure, but on the homes, again, I've brought this up many times, you drop that level of water on houses and you would cause damage. Now, again, you might save the home, but then if you destroy the roof, destroy the home, have you saved it? And then I was kind of half joking. You know, you drop that red fire retardant on a home, and then all of a sudden the HOA is like, you're not allowed to paint your home red, so you're in trouble. You got to get that fixed. So, again, she's full of shit. This is an absolute failure on the management, if you will, of this state. She's an example of it, and people are pissed, and they know it, and so is Gavin Newscum. These bastards are gonna and are feeling the force and anger from the citizens. We've got some examples of that coming up. One thing that somebody caught on camera, and I thought this was very interesting. This is the same press conference, by the way. This lady's wearing her upside-down cross. Look at that. Satanism's right in the middle of it all. And Mary Karen Ballz's court. I don't know whatever her real name is. I'm going to call her Karen Ballz, I think, for the rest of this, just because it works well for me. So Karen Ballz's people, she's got Satanists inside of her group. And, of course, I don't know if you guys have seen the images of Chelsea Clinton wearing similar upside-down crosses. It's definitely not a Christian symbol, regardless of what idiots say. Swalwell's being a Swallowwell, I should say, is being a tard, and he's hitting up Elon Musk in such a stupid, typical Swallowwell way. He says, Elon, I believe you want to help as much as I do. I'll use my post on Homeland Security Committee to have an open mind regarding concerns over fire, cause, and response. Can you use this platform and your money to help poorer families who lost their homes and workplaces? Probably. But Swallowwell, can you do more than just sit on a committee? Buddy, you got some cash. You know, sure you're making money too. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? And of course, X is going to be used to explain all the nonsense and failures by the Democrat policies, frankly, in this state. All the progressive, crazy environmentalists that have made it impossible for the citizens to even protect themselves from criminals, can't protect themselves, and we've got examples of arson. It's going to pissed me off. Can't even protect ourselves from the criminals, can't protect ourselves from fires. We can't do anything because of all the lame policies that keep happening. This is abysmal failure, and we've got Swallowwell trying to make it sound like, well, Musk should just throw his billions of dollars at it. You know what, Swallowwell? Suck it. Keep swallowing. That's what you do best. You are just such a homo. Get over it. And no offense to the homos out there. I wasn't trying to be mean to you, just Swallowwell, which, you know, maybe he can suck good. I heard he can suck a golf ball through 20 foot of garden hose. Donald Trump posted this, or truth, whatever. The fires in Los Angeles may go down in dollar amount as the worst in the history of our country. In many circles, they're doubting whether insurance companies will even have enough money to pay for this catastrophe. Not to mention, because of Gavin Newscum, many of the insurance companies left the state mid-year last year. A lot of the insurance companies for auto left the state because of Gavin Newscum. So this is total incompetence. So let this serve and be emblematic of the gross incompetence and mismanagement of the Biden-Newscum duo. January 20th cannot come fast enough. So true. So we got evacuation orders that were given for Hollywood Hills and surrounding areas of Los Angeles. This went into effect last night. So another expensive area and part of town with some historic buildings, by the way, also being evacuated.
Oh my God. Runyon Canyon is on fire. Runyon Canyon is on fire. This has happened in the last 20 minutes. And as you can see, it's already pretty big. There's ash everywhere.
Now, I want to point out something, and we'll go right here. So if you stop this video in any one of these places, right, and people are doing this right now. This is one of the things that people are doing. And they're saying, these are directed energy weapons. See? Look at this image. That's total lens flare on this dude's camera. And when you watch him walking, you see the lens flare moving all over the place. It's got dirty lens or whatever the hell is. But a lot of people have done still frame photos and said, what's this? Look at this. Look at what's going on. These are directed energy weapons. No, they're not. This is a dude's lens flare, 100%.
There's ash everywhere.
See how it's moving all over the place? It's not directed energy weapons. We have friggin' hurricane force winds, extraordinarily dry brush, and then idiots starting fires. Probably on purpose, certainly arson. A lot of arsons happened. Some of it has then spread from there. They had embers going 5 miles from where they were burnt, landing 5 miles away and starting additional fires. This is, again, there's conspiracy theory stuff all over the place. And I'm quick to get on board the conspiracy train frequently, but then there's a lot of times where it's just crap. It's crap. It's people that are just making stuff up. Again, I get it. It's fun, but it's not always true. And saying, well, there's no such thing as coincidence, Dan. It's not a coincidence that there's lens flare. It's disgusting, but it does happen. I get it. A lot of crazies going on right now. So again, I think this was the same video we just watched. Yeah, it seems to be anyways. So yes, AccuWeather is expecting this to cost anywhere from 52 to 57 billion. I think it's going to cost way more than that because we're still far from done. We're still extraordinarily windy right now. The expectation is that the winds are going to continue, likely even pick back up next week. This is a very dangerous time. We have a chance of a low-pressure system coming on ground. Right now we have a giant-ass low-pressure system off the coast of L.A., and that's causing all those winds to suck out towards that, which is causing all the winds to blow towards the beach, which is where all the most expensive properties are. So like it said in Joe Rogan's thing, this is that perfect set of wind scenarios that is literally burning down Los Angeles. Horrific. Donald Trump truth, the fires in Los Angeles. Oh, I already mentioned that, but $52 to $57 billion is just, it's insane. Here's an evacuation order had been issued for the, I guess, Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west. They were talking to this gentleman about it, and they've got some more interesting scenes. The damage is beyond compare, and I'm going to show some video of what has happened to the Palisades area. Entire neighborhoods, street after street after street after street of houses gone. Just completely gone. It is insane how it's over 1,000 structures. Over 1,000 structures have been destroyed. That's unprecedented. Normally we have brush fires, and they usually are able to make lines of defense close to where homes begin, and they're usually able to keep the homes safe. In this case, these fires broke out literally in neighborhoods, and in some cases we've got people starting fires in literal neighborhoods. It'll piss you off. It should anyways. It certainly pissed me off. But here is some of the evacuation.
Prayers. Well, thank you both so much for speaking with us. Hopefully your home will be just fine. You can see that firefighters are truly fighting this fire from above, and they're making those water drops. Again, this is the Sunset Fire that started around 5:30, and the blaze was small. It was just about 10 acres, and that has grown dramatically, threatening so many homes in this area. There's an evacuation order. It is mandatory, and originally I had the order for the area of Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, Mulholland Drive on the north, the 101 freeway on the west, Hollywood Boulevard on the south, and I understand now even the Walk of Fame. Is that correct, Marla and Alex? Can you add the two additional
yes, indeed.
spots that have been evacuated?
The Walk of Fame, the Dolby Theater, all that Hollywood and Highland corridor. Yes.
Yeah, so this is a very big fire, and it is threatening this entire area. Runyon Canyon, as these two gentlemen were talking about, that is a very popular place to hike. It is beautiful. You go up there, you get a view of the entire city. All of it right now. This is not a good sight.
Do you see a lot of LAPD officers? We're just getting word from the mayor of LA, of course, Karen Bash. She just tweeted moments ago that they're deploying LAPD officers to respond to the Hollywood area to help alleviate evacuation traffic.
Yes, we did see LAPD officers trying to,
Yeah, just insane what's going on right now. Crazy times. And it's not necessarily getting better, that's for sure. It was confirmed that Hunter Biden's home that he was renting also burnt to the ground. So, sad from that standpoint for sure. I bet he had some possessions inside that home, probably all sorts of cocaine burnt up. I'm sure he's very upset about that. But yes, very sad. $4 million home, which kind of surprised. Looks like it would have cost well more than $4 million, but whatever the case is, it is what it is. Also, this is the aerial footage of the damage. Just insane. Check this out.
Well, you're seeing this moments after I saw it. The clouds just cleared, and I can tell you this is the most devastating event that I've seen. I've seen the earthquakes, all the fires here over the last 30 or 40 years, and we've never seen anything like this. This is Pacific Palisades, and the fire went through here, and it just took out thousands of homes all the way down to the shoreline. I mean, to describe it, really, it looks like a war zone. Now, the winds have died down a little bit right now, so they can make some progress, and as I mentioned, the smoke just cleared. This is the first time we were able to get in here and see the destruction. That's the village in Pacific Palisades. But as you can see, row after row after row, every single home burned right down to the foundation. Fortunately, this fire, we're not hearing about any fatalities. The other fire out in Altadena and Pasadena, we've had at least 5 people killed in that one. Fortunately, everyone got out of this, but look at the devastation. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's hard to describe how bad this is.
These are streets. These are streets. Houses all down the street. Houses all down the street. These are all completely leveled. Completely leveled. Absolutely insane. We got some more of the same right here. Absolute devastation. It's just, and again, just some of the most expensive real estate in the country for sure. Just talking about what's going on, how bad it is, just the updates on the fires, what's still going, how bad they are. Anyway, check this out.
We have 4 large fires burning in LA County at this time. The Palisades fire is located in both LA City and LA County. We are in unified command with the City of Los Angeles Fire Department, in addition to CAL FIRE. We have well over 5,000 acres that have burned, and the fire is growing. We have no percentage of containment. We have an estimated 1,000 structures destroyed, and also no reported fatalities, and a high number of significant injuries to residents who did not evacuate, in addition to first responders who were on the fire line. We have over 1,000 personnel assigned, and the cause of the fire is unknown. However, it is under investigation. For the Eaton fire, it is located in both the Angeles National Forest, the Altadena area of LA County, and Pasadena. LA County is in unified command with both the Angeles National Forest and the Pasadena Fire Department. We have over 2,000 acres burning at this time, and the fire continues to grow with 0% containment. We have over 500 personnel assigned, and unfortunately, we have 2 reported fatalities to civilians. Unknown cause at this time, and we do have a number of significant injuries. We have over 100 structures destroyed, and the cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation.
Yeah, unknown and under investigation. We've got some examples of arson coming up. Fire spreading rapidly as Donald Trump truthed this out. Fire is spreading rapidly for 3 days. 0 containment. Nobody has even seen such failed numbers before. Gross incompetence by Gavin Newscum and Karen Bass. And Biden's FEMA has no money. All wasted on green news scam. LA is a total wipeout. It is bad. And again, Trump is just really trying to call out where the failures are. I mean, I know he feels bad for us out here, living out here and being a part of this. Again, I'm not going to politicize it, but it needs to be called out where the failures are occurring. You want to call that political, that's fine. That's you. But me, this is the failure. Management is the failure. They have poorly managed our resources. They have not cleaned up the forests and the brush. They have done a piss poor job doing all sorts of things. And then they turn around and try to blame gravity, try to blame all sorts of other things. And again, California is famous for its fires. We continue to have them all the time, yet nothing changes. And then we get large amounts of money, from the government, from the rest of you guys, you taxpayers. You're giving us money to fix and rebuild what we keep failing to do properly. Again, I've said many a time, get your pry bars, go to the border, and literally pry us off into the ocean. Do yourselves a favor. Granted, we're a fifth of the economy, so you're our fifth largest economy in the world. It sucked from that standpoint for y'all, but it would be save yourselves kind of situation. Trump has a long history of warning Newsom over his terrible wildfire prevention. He's been saying this for years. I don't know if they actually play this in here or whatever. But the governor of California, Gavin Newscum, has done a terrible job of forest management. I told him from the first day we met that he must clean his forest floors regardless of what his bosses, the environmentalists, demand of him. Must also do burns and cut fire stoppers. Every year, as the fires rage and California burns, it is the same thing, and then he comes to the federal government for money. Help. No more. Get your act together, Governor. You don't see close to this level of burn in other states. Call him out, and he's right. He's 100% right. I live here. I agree. We need to get our shit together, and we've got the money to pay for it, frankly. Now, here is some of Hollywood coming together. I've got a few different clips that we're going to play. Here's James Wood. He went on with Laura Ingraham and was talking about what he thinks should happen to this governor and mayor.
Laura, with all due respect, if it is true that things were handled this way, if it is true that Gavin Newsom is the absolute blithering idiot that I believe he is in the way he has handled fire management in this state again and again and again and again, this isn't a wake-up call. This is the kind of thing they have tribunals for, where they try people and say, you had an oath of office to perform certain duties. When you're the fire chief, this isn't a social justice exercise that you're in charge of. This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds burning houses to the ground.
Yeah, he's 100% right. 100% right. Burning stuff to the ground. So celebrities are turning on the Dems. They're blasting LA mayor for fire response. Ruined our state. So yeah, we've got some celebrities here on this one, I think, bitching about it. Let's check this out.
Continuing to ravage through Los Angeles, forcing more than 30,000 residents to evacuate their homes. More Hollywood stars have fled the area in order to protect their families' lives and their own. Paris Hilton's Malibu beachfront property was destroyed, leading her to share an Instagram statement expressing she was heartbroken beyond words, but relieved her family was safe and organizing support for victims. Adam Brody and Leighton Meester's $6.5 million property was also burned down, with photos and videos obtained by Page Six showing the house ravaged by flames. Anna Faris also lost her multi-million-dollar mansion, with photos showing only the debris and destruction left behind by the disaster. Miles Teller and his wife Kelly Teller lost their $7.5 million Pacific Palisades home, with neither of them commenting on the loss, but Kelly advising her neighbors to leave behind water bowls for animals trying to escape. Anthony Hopkins' Pacific Palisades home was left only as a pile of debris after the fires, with the actor yet to comment on the destruction. John Goodman's house in Los Angeles was reduced to ashes, with not a single room left standing, as seen in photos obtained by Page Six. Colby Smolder's $6.5 million Pacific Palisades home perished in the fires, which she and her husband Taryn Killam purchased in 2017 and spent a year renovating. Cameron Matheson, Alabama Barker, and Landon Barker, Mark Hamill, Mandy Moore, and Whitney Cummings all shared that they too had to evacuate. Celebrities who also confirmed they lost their house to the fires include Ricki Lake, Sandra Lee, Carrie Elwes, and Diane Warren. Our thoughts continue to be with the thousands of people affected by the fires.
Yeah, horrible. A lot of people are pissed. Here's some pissed off Pasadena residents kind of talking about stuff too.
Victims, they're doing this victims research so that number could change. Brian was forced to evacuate his home in Pasadena. And Brian, really, your area is coming into clarity now for just how much you've been through.
Yeah, Harris, I have to tell you, after seeing that press conference, I am flat out heartbroken and outraged. We are sick and tired in LA County of having liberal political leadership play Russian roulette with all of our lives. Look at that. Look at these images. This was preventable, Harris. I'm not saying it could have been stopped, but I looked on the news 3 days ago. I have a teenage daughter. You know, I'm a single parent. I've got a 9-month-old as well, with a nanny holed up in a hotel. 3 days ago, we see on the news, there are winds expected of 80 to 100 miles an hour, Harris. I looked at my teenage daughter, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That's hurricane force winds. Mm-hmm. What is our city? What is our county doing to try to help people understand what happens if these winds destroy our town and community? There was nobody on the TV out here in LA except Gavin Newscum doing his dog and pony show, talking about what we're supposed to do when this happens. Nobody had done anything to remove soil and vegetation for the last year. Nobody tested the water pipes. This was not brain surgery. It was predicted. These winds were predicted. And don't believe Karen Bass when she says that an airplane with water could have saved lives in the Palisades. It's pipes. It's proper water. It's not diverting water for fish in California instead of saving human lives. You want to save human lives? Then do your job and have a plan in place. Harris, there was not an operational plan in place anywhere in LA County to help with this. And by the way, let's not just pick on Karen Bass. What about these LA County supervisors? They are powerful because I'm in LA County. Those supervisors, Harris, they show up at these press conferences after urban carnage, after kids have been murdered in LA County, and they try to tell you, oh, we're going to do this and that. What have they done to prevent it? We're sick and tired of this. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, people are pissed. And finally, I mean, really, finally, the right people are getting pissed, and we're making some noise about it. Now, Jordan Sather is bringing up some common wildfire conspiracies. And again, I love conspiracies, but I don't think there's a lot to be said. I live here. The winds have been insane. A lot of the images that people claim are directed energy weapons, I just gave you a solid example, and that actually is an image. I almost stopped it in the perfect place. It was lens flare. Now, again, a lot of people want to believe this is different than it is. This is mismanagement. This is failure of government. This is what that is. It would be so much easier to pay somebody $1,000 to go out and start fires during windy times, knowing we're as dry as we are, than trying to break out some fancy high-tech weapon and having to read in some people on it. He brings it all up. I don't want to steal Jordan's thunder, but I think he did a pretty good job on this. So he said, not knowing these data points typically lead people down clickbait conspiracy rabbit holes with wildfire scenarios. Melting metal is a fun one. People are saying cars have melted. Aluminum's melting point is about 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Wildfires can burn at upwards of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Seeing melted metal from cars wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Unburned trees. Trees can survive fire due to the adaptations like their thick bark that acts like insulation and high moisture content in the wood. This will char and leave smaller branches may burn off, but they may not completely burn down. Again, not out of the ordinary for trees to be standing while buildings next to them are reduced to rubble. And regarding DEWs, or directed energy weapons, too many photos, videos of lens flare or light refraction through windows go viral during wildfires, leading people to think it was a direct energy weapon or even a UFO. An old photo, video, and CGI content will get circulated by engagement farmers who present them like they're new. If these fires are intentionally set, it makes a lot more sense for whatever shadow deep state government group to pay off an arsonist, one person, cheap, easy, than to activate some directed energy weapon, which would require many people read in on the op, reducing operational security greatly. I think his points are correct. Here is an arsonist starting a fire.
We're at 302 Pico, and people are lighting fires now. You can see they lit a fire. These guys not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire, and they're actually, the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires down in the so-called, flats around Santa Monica, Venice. So be safe out there. Fire department's been dispatched. We don't have enough water to put this thing out, but we're supposedly on the way.
So I don't know if that one broke out and got worse, but we obviously are seeing. Here is the clip of the fire department talking about this.
7, you advise LAPD that the arsonist has lit multiple sets of fires. He's now traveling northbound on Vermont, past 83rd Street, described as a 5'8" Latino male with a black hoodie and a hat. 7.
Now, again, I'm not trying to make this, an immigrant thing or not. It happens to be a Hispanic, could very well be a legal Hispanic. I don't know. But an idiot and a horrible, evil, wicked person. And by the way, kind of like when you hurt children, you don't have any justice. When you burn down entire neighborhoods, a lot of people have family members that have been affected by this. You don't get any justice at all. So any of the arsonists that may be out there, you all better be very careful, because sometimes people get angry when they find out you're doing something that evil, and they don't wait for the authorities to take care of you. Just saying. Los Angeles fire budget was cut, and hundreds of hydrants have been stolen for scrap. People literally are stealing fire hydrants because of the scrap metal content found in them. And our city's doing nothing about it. They don't bust anyone for doing it. And here we are burning down because we are so mismanaged. Frickin' hate these people. Bless, release, and erase hate. Ugh. Another round of Santa Ana winds is forecast to sweep into Los Angeles on Thursday night into Friday morning, which I'm experiencing right now, putting most of the region under a critical fire risk as emergency responders battle to contain the 5 quickly spreading fires. We've got stronger winds coming back in, and they're going to happen through the weekend as well. This is an extraordinary time for this area of the world right now. There was also an explosion at North Fort Worth, Texas Power Substation. Sparks of fire over there. Pretty big deal going on here too, it seems. Check this out. Again, more lens flare. I don't know if you guys see that bouncing around on the image. Lens flare is a funny thing, and when you pause videos at the right place, here's a great example. Wow, it can look like directed energy weapons, can't it? Again, that's lens flare coming from the headlights here, 4 lights reflecting up somehow. I don't know why. I don't exactly understand how it happens, but that's what it's from. So again, lots of examples of people pausing things and saying, ha, this is perfect. And then it's a clickbait for them. They just want the clicks. And then you guys run around and believe it. And I'm not saying you, maybe it is, but I know a lot of people are super quick to go straight to it's a directed energy weapon. Okay. Governor Tony Evers declares energy emergency in Wisconsin. They are having huge problems getting fuel oil to places. He, I guess, did an executive order that's going to allow them to be a little quicker and more efficient about delivering these products. They said the cold weather has made it extremely difficult for them. So all said, he's trying to help out at least. I don't know if he's a good governor or not, but at least he seems like he's trying to do something positive as opposed to our retarded smiling governor that just runs around and wants photo ops. A federal judge in Kentucky blocked the Biden administration's attempt to redefine sex in the Title IX as gender identity, striking down the change nationwide. U.S. District Court, Eastern District of Kentucky, Northern Division, made the ruling in Cardona versus Tennessee on Thursday. This is another huge win for Tennessee, as well as the rest of the country. FBI informant who made up Biden bribe story. He got 6 years in prison. I just want to point out something that's kind of funny about that. Whatever happened to Steele, even though he's British, and that dossier that they ran around and claimed was real, even though they knew it wasn't? Or what about the FBI people who lied about the laptop of Hunter Biden before the election? How come none of those people get in trouble, but anybody that, quote, makes up a story about Biden, well, they've got to go to jail? It's just the double standard. It's insanity. And we're going to keep calling it out, too. New Jersey State Ethics Commission, Commissioner, he's seeking leniency for Bob Menendez. Of course, another example. Bob Menendez was doing some scandalous stuff. He's been found guilty of it. And yet we've got the Democrats want to come out and give them a break. But Trump does money for a legal fee, and they want to throw him in jail for that. Or they want to devalue his property and then make him pay insane amounts of money. But it's okay when their people commit crime. Trump's crimes weren't even real crimes. They had to manufacture them. This double standard is disgusting, to say the least. Got some stuff going on with Trump. He was again at the funeral, but we'll start here on Capitol Hill. I think this was yesterday. We're going to be governed. Yeah, it was yesterday. We're going to be governed by common sense. This is what Trump's telling us. Thank God.
What does day one going to look like for the Trump administration?
Number one, we're closing the border. It's going to be closed very strongly, and it's going to be closed. And we're going to have to take people out that are criminals. We have people from jails from all over the world and from mental institutions. And as you know, they're going to have to be removed. And it's one of the reasons I won the election in a landslide. The people of this country don't want murderers walking down their farms or their streets or their cities. As you know, we had thousands of people that murdered other people that were in jail that were released into our country. Many of those people murdered more than one person, many of them, about 42% supposedly. We want them out of our country, and we're going to get a country back again, and we're going to be really governed by common sense. These are the principles of common sense. We're not going to be governed by stupid people. We're going to common sense. We're going to be respected all over the world again very soon.
Yeah, we're going to be respected again. That much is true, and we're going to get there quickly, that's for sure. We've got a great post here. Trump's tough talk, support or face political consequences. So sort of the firm approach. They're talking about it. I think this is a pretty good little clip. Check it out.
I have proposed to some people behind the scenes that Donald Trump should have a very honest conversation with some of these senators.
Yeah.
You have friends and family and associates that would like to be involved in this administration. Some of you have primaries in 2026. Let me be very clear here. If you oppose or vote against any of my nominees, I will find primary opponents for you in 26. Also, none of your family or friends or associates will ever find a job inside of this administration.
Ever.
I will become one of your worst enemies.
But
period.
also, if you're going to attack if you're going to sit back and allow people to call Bobby Kennedy a nutcase,
right,
and Tulsi Gabbard an agent of a foreign power, really? I mean, I'm thinking of one senator in particular from the Northeast. Whatever. Without even getting in, right? These are people who are vulnerable.
Yes.
Really, we're going to look into Bobby Kennedy's behavior. Well, how about we look into yours?
I think they're using.
Let's not play. I'm sick of this.
I know. I think they're trying the carrot approach right now, and
well, we need the flaming sword of justice at a certain point.
I'm usually the stick approach first.
Yeah.
So I'd really like the big stick to come out. Let's see how these hearings begin in really just a couple days, how they start to play out. But I think there needs to be a conversation behind the scenes of, we'd love for you to do the right thing. And if you don't, there are going to be serious consequences.
Imagine
because most of these elected officials, this is the one thing that I've noticed about DC having been there for way too long. They are experts in self-preservation.
Yeah.
They want
That's
to
what
come
they
back.
care about.
Right. They want to come back in 2 years as a member of the House. They want to come back in 6 years as a member of the Senate. Let's have a little chit chat about what your political future looks like if you don't want to actually give me my nominees.
Well, especially on the basis of no good reason, on the basis of like the most corrupt motives, pressure from lobbyists to oppose. And I just want to be clear. It's Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard we're talking about. I think you're absolutely right. And they're going to impugn their characters.
This is how DC has operated for way too long.
Tulsi Gabbard has never had a sip of alcohol in her life. They're going to call her a bad person? Really?
The corporation, the corporate lobbyists, and all of these various interests have way too much say in how a senator actually or congressman actually operates instead of the people that actually voted them into office. You and I both know this because the lobbyists are in there every day pressuring, making sure there's a lot of money coming in for the reelection campaign so they can get reelected, the idea of self-preservation. It's a pretty, I mean, there's a whole host of things wrong with our system today, but this is one of them.
And this is one of the key things that we're going to have to ripple big time, all of us, especially me, and I will. But we have to point this out. And any of these people, any of these politicians that do not get on board of the Make America Great Again, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, if you don't want to make America better and you're more worried about the political aspects of things, we will ruin your political career. You are not in charge anymore. We, the people, are. And we will and are taking back this country. So any of these people that are like, oh, you're just going to try to cancel everybody? Yes, we are. And I don't mind saying that. This is going to go down in history as the greatest time ever. And those who don't figure it out will be politically destroyed. Destroyed. That's it. End of story. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the Department of Justice Thursday asking to view Special Counsel Jack Smith's findings on President-elect Trump's handling of the classified documents. Why? Because they want to leak it. Trump has relentlessly fought to bar the Justice Department from releasing Smith's final report on the investigation. Smith got kicked out. He's not even supposedly able to be the special counsel. Yet they're going to take whatever bullshit he came up with and try to publicize it and try to smear Trump. Because again, they don't want it to make America great again. They want America to suck. And they're beholden to the lobbyists, and they're beholden to the deep state, and they're beholden to the deep pockets of all these bad companies. I mean, Pfizer and all those guys for sure, but even in a lot of cases, the oil industry has been pumping money into a lot of people's pockets too. I think we're seeing some of that in the wrong way, but whatever the case is, we've got a lot to deal with. Here's Trump showing up. They said he got snubbed by Pence's wife. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Who says Trump even wanted to shake her damn hand? I mean, if she would have stood up and been respectful like these two, maybe he would have, but he didn't.
Leland, good morning to you. We can see President-elect Trump now entering the room for this morning's service.
Al Gore, Mike Pence there with former President Trump. I'm not sure former Vice President Pence and Donald Trump have seen each other.
Okay, probably dislikes the bastard for many reasons, but whatever the case is, here we are. Here's a lot of discussions that were going on with Trump and Obama. A very heated discussion. Well, not heated. A good discussion, it seems. There's some times where there might have been some smiles. We've got some speculation, and I'll get there in a second, as to what they were talking about. Again, someone lip reading. They're professional lip readers, so we should trust it. Whatever. Might be true. Don't know. But Trump is hidden, at least from this camera angle, behind Fat Face's head. What's his doughboy's name? I forget the Harris's wife's name. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah. So you can't really see a lot of it, but here is what we do kind of see a little of.
You've seen you've seen images of this from the Oval Office with all the former presidents gathered, where Jimmy Carter's almost on the outside. He never wanted to be part of that club. He never thought of himself as a political insider. He came to Washington, he left Washington, and then devoted his life and his post-presidency to service. That's right.
Now, what's kind of, I don't know, ironic, I guess, is, wasn't it George Bush Sr., his funeral, where we had this last little setting just, I don't know, almost 8 years ago? Kind of funny how things have changed, and also funny how much older Bill Clinton looks. Hillary's double looks pretty good right now. Bush Jr. looks horrible. So it is strange that we've got that. Obama still looks surprisingly good. I don't know if he's still getting his A-chrome on a regular basis or what, but yeah, craziness going on. CNN says Big Mike is not in attendance due to a scheduling conflict and is actually in Hawaii on an extended holiday vacation. Think about that for a second. Extended holiday vacation in Hawaii, doesn't show up to this funeral. Why? Why not fly back and then go back to your extended vacation holiday? Why choose not to? That's weird. I don't know. Something to think about, I think. I mean, I don't know. I think about it. Let's put it that way. Joe Biden, during his eulogy, yeah, he says some stuff that's just, again, projection. It'll probably piss you off, too.
You know, we have an obligation to give hate no safe harbor and to stand up to what my dad used to say is the greatest sin of all, the abuse of power. That's not about being perfect, because none of us are perfect. We're all fallible, but it's about...
Many suggest he was looking at Trump when he said that abuse of power, which again, projection. Isn't that kind of funny how he is one of the ones that's the most guilty? He's pissed off that Jack Smith wasn't able to do more, that Merrick Garland wasn't able to produce any arrests of Trump. Apparently, Melania Trump was wearing a Valentino coat with a dramatic kiss print collar for Jimmy Carter's state funeral. I guess it's a famous print. I don't know enough about any of this stuff. She's always wearing stuff, though, that kind of sends a message. I'm kind of curious what some of you guys think that message might be. Put in the comments what you guys think. It's an interesting picture of two people kissing in quite a beautiful embrace. I don't know what the story is behind this particular image at all. I mean, other than it looks pretty round, you know what I mean? Oh, hell yeah. But again, interesting collar, very interesting artwork, and if it's Valentino, it's obviously expensive. I know that much, that's for sure. Ella Lip Reader, yeah, the LIP. Lip Reader reveals Trump told Obama they will find a quiet place to discuss matter of importance. This is what a lip reader is claiming, that they said they needed to find a quiet place, matters of importance. They didn't really seem like they had a whole lot more that they were giving us in this. It said at one point Trump leaned toward Obama and said, "I've pulled out of that. It's the conditions. Can you imagine that?" Again, Obama laughed as Trump added, "And after, I will," before the TV camera pushed away, so we don't know. But then he says, "Call me at the foy after." Yep, Trump replied to Obama during their exchange, possibly referring to the National Cathedral's foyer. We'll see. Obama then said, "Can you just, it should be good." He said, "I can't talk. We have to find a quiet place sometime. This is a matter of importance, and we need to do this outside so that we can deal with it, certainly today." So whatever the case was, something big was being discussed between these two. Very curious what that might be. Probably ties to stuff that Obama had done, and maybe even some of the accords he put through, certainly with Iran and some of these other countries. You know, the French one. What was the European one or the French? There was the other accord that we pulled out of. So we'll see. Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania has accepted an invitation from President-elect Donald Trump to meet with him at his Mar-a-Lago estate. It's the plan anyways. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Fetterman will talk about it when it does occur. This is, I don't know, it's an interesting thought. Don't know if it's true. Very interesting thought. But this man explains perfectly why Trump is changing the name of the Gulf of America, or the Gulf of Mexico, to the Gulf of America. Biden banned offshore drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. So if he changes the name, does that make that null and void? Could, because that was probably not written into the bill, that even if this area is changed names, because they probably never thought that would happen. So by changing the name, that might very well invalidate some of those agreements. That's an interesting thought. I don't know. Could be true. Don't know. President-elect Trump is hosting a slew of Republican governors at his Mar-a-Lago estate on Thursday night, so tonight, seeking to get state leaders on the same page before he takes office later in the month. So, again, he's doing a lot of good stuff. He just had a lot of the House members over recently, so it is cool to see that is happening. Rep. Dusty Johnson, he's a Republican from South Dakota, has put forward a bill that would grant the president the power to negotiate the repurchase of the Panama Canal, aligning with President-elect Trump's recent advocacy for U.S. control over the waterway. Now, they don't have to sell it to us, and they might not. I do think there's going to be some interesting situations. Military, I do think, will get directly involved with this, and I honestly still think, whether it's true or not, but I do think the second China moves on Taiwan, I think we will immediately move on the Panama Canal from both sides, and we will literally block China and many other countries probably from using it. That will get very interesting, because if we literally block it and don't let ships through, Panama's screwed. And we can probably maintain that for quite a while, especially if we park groups on both sides. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the big picture. We got a lot of crazy is going to be coming forward, folks. Alaska is suing Biden administration for his irrational restrictions on Trump-era oil and gas drilling mandates. See, it's funny how many things that Biden was able to undo with executive orders. So why can't we executive order and undo a lot of that stuff? Biden did executive orders to undo Trump's executive orders. Now, he had to extend a few of them, which has been a question to many of us. Some very famous executive orders he has extended on the date, every time. So, again, a lot of interesting stuff, and how that all plays out, I think, is going to be fascinating. It's going to make for some great shows in the future, that's for sure. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is asking the Georgia Supreme Court to overturn the lower court's opinion that removed her from the 2020 election interference case involving incoming President Donald Trump and more than a dozen others. What's funny to me on this is she's asking them to let her go, that this relationship she had wasn't a reason to keep her from being involved. But she's already lied about information that needed to be given to, I forget the name of the legal group. I just shared it, Tom Fitton. Yeah, his group. And she lied and then held back information, which she then ended up having to turn over because he had evidence that there was at least one document that she had. And he got that from somebody else. So he knew they were lying. And then the judge even said, you got to pay his legal fees, about almost $22,000 of legal fees. So why wouldn't the upper court also look at that and be like, you're doing illegal, scandalous stuff on top of the fact that you lied to a bunch of people about your relationship? No. So this will be interesting how this plays out. Don't know, but I think Fanny, and yes, I call her Fanny on purpose, I don't think she's going to survive this. That's for sure. I want to remind you guys about your four-legged creatures. You love them, and I've been taking my meds too because since my plane flight, and I finally got over. I'm barely coughing anymore. It's almost 100% gone. I had a small little bout this morning that didn't last long, but other than that, I'm not coughing. Been able to do the treadmill without coughing. I think I had one cough today, but it actually was productive. All said, this mushroom, this Coriolus versicolor mushroom that is in these awesome products with Pet Club 247, great company, by the way. You got shop all sorts of products, again, that have this. They got products for people and products for your dogs and cats. And there's no way to really eat too much of this stuff, but again, some animals maybe you don't want to overdo it, probably, just at least as the means of the delivery mechanism. But this product actually helps the immune system, and there's a lot of studies that suggest it's even got some anti-cancer components to it. I know a couple people talked about baby Trump. He was on my channel a long time ago talking about this. Had a tumor in his neck, took gobs of this product and prayer, and it went away. It went away. I know people that have had dogs and cats with different illnesses. Sometimes, they get older. I got one friend, Nana's Little Corner. She's got one cat that's older and not handling it as well and stopped actually taking the food. She won't eat the Mojos anymore, the cat. But she's got some other dogs and cats that are still eating the Mojos. So just sometimes it might be too late. Sometimes you get it early enough, you can actually start to see the improvements. We've got a whole lot of people that have shared their stories about that as well. So a lot of wonderful products. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. You go to that site, you're going to check out all sorts of great stuff. Mush puppies are the typical way most people get in for their dogs. It's like a cookie. Cats don't tend to like it. But what dogs and cats have available to them is the Mojos. The Mojos is a liver treat that's got that Coriolus versicolor in it, mixed in there. So that's a treat if you've got dogs and cats that you can get one bag and actually help both your dogs and cats. It's only $18. It's a great way to get started and start getting this into your animals. If you've got animals that are maybe a little more serious in their needs, you got some special sauce that you can add to their foods. They've also got all sorts of amazing foods. They've got chill doggy treats. They've got some really, really powerful stuff. You can go straight to the dog tab if you want something very specific. There's even toys. They've got antler sticks that they can chew on that are very good for them, and they chew on them, and it's good for their teeth. But also it's rubbing off that mineral, calcium, and it's putting that in their bodies. So again, incredible products. If you go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com, you're going to see all of these great products. You're going to see the different foods they offer. They've got a lot of impressive products. They even got mutt mints for those dogs that maybe don't have the best breath. You're also giving them the Coriolus versicolor and a mint taste. It's a great stuff. And also for horses, they've got mush ponies. and a number of buying ways to get them. If you got one horse, it's one thing. If you've got 5 horses, well, you might want to get larger dose, if you will, or larger amounts, and you actually save money, obviously, when you buy in bulk. So a lot of good things. And then, of course, the human products, which I use, and took mine before I started this recording. Again, Coriolis versicolor. You want to take basically 1 pill for about every 50 pounds. So again, I try to take about 4 a day. I don't weigh 200 pounds, but it's a little bit extra. I'm about 170, especially after having the sickness. I lost about 8 pounds, which was awesome. Got myself really down to where I should be, which is, I look pretty good. I like it. At least I'm not trying to be lame, but it helps. That's for sure. Also, the gummies are really yummy, and it's another easy way to get them. I've only got a few left in there. I gotta eat them, but the pills are just so much easier. Just pop them in, take a gulp of water, and life is good. And they've got these cool cookies. If you like cookies and you want to get the Coriolis versicolor, here it is. You get those munchies at night, and boom, here's something you can munch on and actually do yourself some health. A lot of great products. And they've got this body balm, too. They've got this for people, for the animals. It helps with their noses, their paws, and all that. Horses' noses as well, or whatever parts that need to stay moistened for us. It's a great organic, vegan, essentially, balm that's good for us. So check it out. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com, and you will be impressed with some of the awesome stuff that you will find in there. All said, yeah. All right, so Labor finally voted, and they decided they did not want to have a national inquiry into the grooming gangs as Keir Starmer leaves himself open to fresh attacks by Elon Musk. I'm doubting he's concerned about that, but he is going to get hammered for that. So they literally voted not to look into it. England, don't know what the hell's going on, but y'all got to figure it out and make noise in your own way that you can. Frankly, I know it's illegal for you guys to say anything, so you'll probably get arrested. So be careful. Do it the right way. Don't do things that break the law, but skirt it if you can. Giorgia Meloni, the lady from Italy. There we go. That word. I wanted to say Israel. I don't know why that was stuck in my head. But Giorgia Meloni, she is, she's defending Musk. I swear to God, this was in English when I first opened it. But she's defending Musk, how he's going after these crazy people and basically saying, look, Musk isn't a bad guy for what he's saying. He's just calling stuff out. And that's fantastic. And so I understand what I'm reading because I'm doing it with my hands, I would say. But I don't understand any of this. I swear to God, it was in English when I first saw it. It's so strange. So strange. Whatever. Stuff happens. So Elon Musk is calling out George Soros. The World of Statistics pointed out that Meloni at a press conference is saying that Musk is not a danger for democracy, that Soros actually is. And Elon Musk is like, and Soros is being defeated, which is true. But what's also weird is everybody defends Soros. Nobody defends Musk. Why is that? Peter Sweden pulls this out and says, why does the mainstream media never talk about how George Soros is a threat to democracy? Because, again, he's spent money to try to alter elections. He spent money to try to turn everything into this DEI and all this nonsense. He spent money to buy radio stations so he can continue to propagandize Americans, even though he's not an American. Well, Elon Musk says because they are his lapdogs. And that's right. The people that are actually in charge of our politicians is people like Soros. It's the money. It's the big money. That is what controls the politics. They want the money, so they'll do whatever the people with the money say you must do. And that is why our country is in shambles. And that is why these politicians either need to make America great again and stop it, or we are going to destroy your political career. Destroy it. You will never, ever win another election, and we will all make it our point in life to make sure you don't. And I'll do it with pride. And anybody that says, you're just trying to go against them and trying to cancel them. Yep. If they don't want to make America great, I don't want them anywhere near politics. This isn't Democrat, Republican, care less. I constantly give major points to Manchin. He saved this country. I've given constant points to Fetterman because he's tripping me out and he's actually saying some of the right stuff. Kirsten Sinema, I don't know. She was extraordinarily weak, but at least she changed her party, but she was extraordinarily weak. One occasion, I think, she actually did a vote that saved us. Outside of that, she doesn't get crap from me, but whatever. After a meeting with President Biden at the White House on Monday, Edmundo Gonzalez, the man who won Venezuela's presidential election in July, traveled to Argentina and then to Panama with the ballots to prove that he, not Nicolas Maduro, is Venezuela's democratically elected leader. Though Venezuela's Maduro is actually, well, he's arrested 2 U.S. citizens and some others, and he is about to, be sworn in. The dude didn't win. He is a dictator. He cheated and still lost. So I don't know what's going to happen, how Trump's going to handle this, but this guy has detained 2 Americans and 5 others from other countries. He said they captured 7 foreign mercenaries, including 2 important mercenaries from the United States. One can wonder what these people were, but they very well could have been CIA or people along those lines that were trying to, I don't know, maybe get Maduro to fall. Maybe we've got some good CIA people. It doesn't seem like it's possible, but maybe. I don't know. It's possible that there might be some good ones. I had to actually make sure I put this guy's name phonetically because I knew I was going to probably forget. It's spelled A-O-U-N. So it's like, how do you say that? So I looked it up. You guys should be proud. Normally I don't care about names, but this one, there's no way I was going to get it right. But this guy's Lebanon's parliament. They ended a prolonged political deadlock by electing General Joseph Ayoun and the U.S.-backed army chief as the new president. The election followed a significant diplomatic efforts by Saudi Arabia and the United States to support Ayoun, who maintains strong ties with both nations. You should almost be slightly proud of me for actually looking up the one name, because I hate doing that. You guys know that. I'll say the name wrong all day long, or just can't remember it, usually. Telegram's handed over a bunch of data of U.S. users to U.S. authorities. Thousands anyway. Apparently 2,253 users last year had their information given to them. And so a lot of this stuff has happened since they've had Pavel Durov in the French jail. And so this dude's kind of sounds like singing like a canary. Whatever the case is, Telegram is not, not the panacea that I think a lot of people thought it was, but it's still great. I use it every day, obviously. I think it's a wonderful source of information, and a lot of stuff is shared that is either harder to find on X, in my opinion, or, it just works out easier. Whatever the case is, it's a great place. And we've got, I think, the final story here. More than 15,000 doctors have signed a letter urging senators to vote against confirming Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This is kind of funny. So again, these are deep state doctors or idiot doctors or whatever. But they're saying the health and well-being of 336 million Americans depends on leadership at the HHS that prioritizes science, evidence-based medicine, and strengthening the integrity of our public health system. That's all that Robert Kennedy wants to do. He wants to investigate with science some of the alternate theories that right now Pfizer and these other companies, the CDC, won't fund. They won't fund these studies to actually see if stuff's maybe not as healthy for us. And then we let the pharmacy companies tell us whether their product is healthy. It's the same thing with the sugar industry, telling us that sugar was good. The same thing with the cigarette industry, telling us that cigarettes were good for us. Same thing. Now, again, I know there's people out there that say nicotine's good for you. Yes. Smoking cigarettes with the thousands of chemicals in them? No. That is not the best delivery. If you want to get nicotine, find a way to get pure nicotine, even though I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I mean, it's a pesticide. But that said, if you think nicotine is the panacea to cure stuff in your body or whatever, cool, then get nicotine. But don't continue to smoke cigarettes thinking you're doing good for yourself. That's insane. There's a crap ton of chemicals and the smoke and the tar. A lot of that stuff's not good. Now, your lungs are very resilient, and within a year of quitting smoking, by the way, or stopping smoking is a better way to look at it, actually, your lungs heal, and it's amazing. Your lung tissue will be just like it should, almost good as new. So I have a book linked below, Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Alan Carr. Highly recommend it if you're somebody that's literally wanting to stop smoking. Do not buy it as a gift for somebody if you've never smoked. Seriously. If you've never smoked, do not buy that book for a smoker. Smokers decide when smokers quit, not non-smokers. You guys just don't understand what it's like to be a smoker. So please don't ever do that. It's actually going to not work. It's offensive to smokers. It pisses us off beyond word. I say us still because I was a smoker. And there's no non-smoker on this planet that ever could have talked me into not smoking. It wasn't how it plays. That's not how the game works. So don't ever do that, please. Please. It doesn't work. You're not the one that's going to decide it. It's not a gift that keeps on giving. It's a gift that's going to piss off the person you give it to. So please don't do that. All said, a lot's happening. Things are changing. We've got major, major battles in front of us. Trump will be in office soon, but that's just when the next phase of the battle begins. and there's a lot that's going to be happening. I'm going to need your guys' help through all of this, and I'm hoping you're still going to be by my side, because I'm planning to keep moving in that direction, and hopefully shoulder to shoulder with you, we will continue to move in that direction. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.